All right, so today I want to talk a bit about the latest release of the ArcGIS Maps SDK for JavaScript map components, right? So there's some cool stuff you can do with the map components now, right? So let's go and look at the release notes in here and come over here. And there's a little roadmap for components. I'm not going to bother with that. There's new CDN endpoints, blah, blah, blah. Map components coming down here, right? So there's some new components. Yeah, whatever. This is view on ready, which is kind of neat. Check it out. Especially really useful if you're writing CDN apps and stuff. I think it's pretty cool. This one here. Right here. reactiveUtils support for components. Okay. Now I'll be honest with you folks. I wasn't a big fan of this at first. But let me tell you, I changed my tune. I'm cool with it. Right? So adding reactiveUtils support for the components is kind of neat. So let's talk about that a bit, right? So let's look at a map component, for example. Classic example, because it's got a bunch of properties on here that you might be interested in watching. Let's go with the real basic one, something like center, okay? Center. Okay, so what you need to do, if you're gonna do this, is I've got my little app over here, and my console over here. So I'm gonna console log the center every time it changes. Very annoying. Look at this. Copilot is trying to do stuff for me. Don't get in my face, Copilot, for crying out loud. One of the things you need to do, first off, is you need to wait for the component to be ready. I think you still need to do it in the VDAP. That's actually a pretty good question. I wonder if Vite still needs this. Huh. Let's find out. So I'm going to say that I'm going to watch. Okay, let's do it. Let's watch it. Let's see. Okay, so it works. Works fine. Normally, if you are working in a CDN app, you are going to want to follow the suggestion here. Is it shown here? Maybe it's not shown here. You want to wait for the component on ready function, it's a promise on the components to finish, right? Maybe here. Let's go over here. Watching for changes, component readiness. I've talked a lot about component readiness. I don't know if I've talked about component already. Basically, it's a lifecycle method that what you would do in a CDN application that you're building, right? Where you're not building an app, you're actually just using the CDN to get things done, is you want to wait for the elements view on ready. Now, the view on ready means that the view is ready. The underlying view, right? This is equivalent to the event for the ArcGIS view ready change eventifier. It's just a method you can use, but there's also a component on ready that you can use as well. Now, think of it the life cycle of when components load, right? So you have the HTML on the page. It's possible in the background there's still some little JavaScript bits loading to hydrate that custom element on the page. If you try using reactiveUtils to watch for property changes on that custom element before the backing JavaScript that hydrates component loads, then the reactiveUtils aren't going to work, because it's like trying to use reactiveUtils to watch for input value to change, right? You can't do that. That's not going to work because they're not reactive elements. Ours are, but you have to wait for the JavaScript stuff to load, right? You get it? You get what I'm saying? You hear me? All right, I hope you hear me. But yeah, look at the documentation on all this stuff. We've updated the patterns and stuff in here, the doc for components, when things are ready. I'm not going to go over it in detail. Check it out. They've done a great job here. Really, really proud of the team that did all this, put all this stuff together for us, right? But it looks like I thought I would have to do it in my Vite application here, where I'm building my app. But no, I don't. Look at it. I just get my center in here. Now, the downside of doing this with like center is you get all the intermediate stuff, right? I can do the same thing for, oh my gosh, it's what's another one here? Let's find some more properties here. Oh wait, no, here. What's a good one here? Let's look for something. Oh, do I have pop-ups? Yeah, let's do like pop-up visible, right? So pop-up not visible, and then here I could say, let's come back over here. Let's get rid of this. It's gonna fill out. Yeah, look at that. It fills out for me. That is the perfect example how to use Copilot. It just write your messages and stuff for you, right? So okay, so now when I work in my app, and I zoom in over here, open a pop-up, boom, pop-up visibility has changed, right? So where did it change from? Why did it go twice? Although, you know, beat stuff can be a little weird, so it probably went from null to true or something. Let's just find out. False to true. But here's the deal. Because the pop-up that you see here in the view, by default, we don't load that pop-up code immediately, only when you click the map, right? So pop-up is null, so being visible is null. The first change happened when pop-up got hydrated and the default value is false, it's not visible. But then I clicked it, I want it visible, so then it becomes visible. You hear me? You hear what I'm saying? I can change this to be when. So just here. So now it's only going to fire when visible is true. I mean, I should only get one of these messages. Bam, there we go. Only one message. Maybe I only care about when visible is true, right? And then I do something. I have no clue. But again, you can see I'm doing all this directly on my element, right? The HTML ArcGIS Map element using reactiveUtils. So this, again, brings a pattern that a lot of users are already familiar with. You can bring them directly into components. Now, you may not want to use reactiveUtils when you're working with a framework like Vue or React or Angular, probably even, because in framework situations, maybe I'll do a video on this at some point too. When you work with a framework, it's much easier and cleaner to listen for events on components and then react to those events in some way than it is to do something like grab a ref to a component in your frameworked application, like in React. I grab a ref, and then I have to use like a use effect to watch for when the ref has been loaded with my component element, and then I can use reactiveUtils on that reference. It can be done. It's just not as clean as nice. It's just working with events to do some stuff, right? So that's what I want to talk about is reactivity in the map components that's available now. So if this is a pattern that you use in your applications, maybe it's something you want to continue using with components as well. But if not, just use the events and stuff, right? There's events here for a bunch of different things you can do on the map itself. It's got all these different events you might be familiar with to do some stuff, right? So yeah, view change is kind of nice because this pretty much is going to happen when any of these properties change, but at the end, right? So if one of these changes, will notify you when they're done changing. Get what I'm saying? Right? So that's a pretty good one to use. But yeah, try them out, play with it. Again, have fun with reactiveUtils and components. Don't forget, comment, like, and subscribe. Drop me any questions down below. Appreciate it. Thanks.